Hi, I'm Paul from NOBL Wheels, and today I'm going to show you how to mount your tire on your rim. The process of mounting a tire is pretty much the same for a mountain bike tire onto a mountain bike rim as it is a road tire onto a road rim. For this example, we're going to be mounting a Maxxis Icon cross-country tire onto our gravel rim. All NOBL wheels come valved and taped right out of the box. Before you mount your tires, make sure that the tape is clean, has no discrepancies, no holes. Make sure your valve is set correctly, and before mounting your tire, make sure the tire doesn't have any holes in it either. If it's an older tire, clean off the gunk, the excess sealant. When mounting the tire, you want to start with one side of the bead first. You always want to start at the valve. You put the logo of the tire right centered on the valve. It's just good form. So from there, all you're going to do is just work the bead around the rim. Doesn't really matter which way you do it at this point because this is just the first bit. So keep mounting it. It's going to get a little tight here. What you want to do is make sure your bead is sitting in the center of the rim channel. That will give you a little bit of extra space, a little bit extra room to play with. Go around, make sure that's all sitting in the center. There we go. First side on, you're good to go for the other side. And what you want to do is you want to start on the opposite end of the wheel and work your way down. You want to make sure that the bead is in the center of the rim because when you're finishing it off in this area here, you just want more tire to play with. So go around, double check that everything's all centered out. And once you're about 2/3 of the way done, you're going to add sealant. We're big fans of orange seal and stands here at NOBL, but today we're going to use stands. So what you want to do is make sure you're using the correct amount of sealant according to the bottle here. So what you're going to want to do is add about 100 ml in and clean up whatever you've spilled. If you're using a brand new tire, add a little more sealant than necessary. That will help seal the bead. From there, you want to rotate the sealant quite gently out of the way, down to the opposite side of the tire, so you can work and not create a massive mess. After we've added the sealant and rotated the tire, we're going to work the rest of the bead onto the rim. So we'll start here, work around the valve, and finish just off to the side so that we don't get caught up in the valve stem. So once it gets a little bit difficult, what you're going to do is work that bead into the center channel. Try to get as much excess as you can, and then get up here and go side to side until the bead pops over the rim, just like that. Now this was a pretty easy tire to mount, so what we're going to do is mount a slightly more difficult road tire. The process of mounting a tire, whether it's a mountain bike tire on a mountain bike rim, or in this case a mountain bike tire on a gravel rim, or a road tire on the road rim, is the same. And it's also the same if you're using rim tape or a rim strip. So now we're going to mount a road tire onto the gravel rim. 700C road tire actually is the same diameter as a 29-inch mountain bike tire, so they will fit on the same rim. So we'll start with the same process. Line up the graphic with the valve and get the first side of the tire seated on the rim. So what I like to do at this point, now that I have the one bead on the rim, I want to give it a little tug here at the bottom at the opposite side of the valve, and then start mounting the bead around the rest of the rim. So these tires are going to be a lot more difficult. So you want to make sure that that bead is right in the rim channel. Now it's starting to get really tight. So again, gonna want to go through, start back. So here's where it's going to start getting difficult. So what you're gonna do is hold the tire in place and just grab this side, make sure it's in the center channel, move it around, try to get as much excess as you can. Just bring it up. Keep pushing it on. And try the other side. So holding the tire in place, working the excess up the rim, putting the bead in the center channel, just giving yourself as much room as possible so you can get that up and over the lip. Work the tire up the rim a few times. Just do whatever you can to avoid using tire levers, because you could damage the rim tape or the rim strip, and that would compromise the airtight seal. Once you get to the point where you've used all the excess, you should be able to pop that tire up over the rim. The next step is to inflate the tire and seat the bead. Best way to do this is to use a compressor, because it's quick, it's easy, and sets the bead really nicely. But I know a lot of you don't have compressors, so we're going to use a floor pump. Take the valve cap off. Make sure your valve is open and unthreaded. So this tire is actually inflating quite nicely on the rim, and soon you'll hear the bead actually pop up into the channel.
When inflating the tire to seat the bead, make sure you don't go over 40 psi. If it's not seating, take the tire off, add some more sealants, and try again.
We'll leave it there. Next step is to move the sealant around inside the tire to fill in all the imperfections that might be in the sidewalls of the tire and seal up any little holes or gaps that there could be in the bead. So what you're going to want to do is hold the wheel level and just tilt it. Start swishing it around a little bit. So this is going to move the sealant around the tire and fill in all those little gaps and holes. Once you've done this a few times, you flip it, do the other side. Same thing. If you're having problems mounting your tire with a floor pump, you can use a compressor. It makes the job really fast and easy. So what we're going to do for that, in this case, is remove the valve core. You don't have to do this in every situation, but for the compressor that we have, taking the valve core out helps a lot. We're doing that right now by using this little handy valve core removal tool. You can use a wrench if you don't have one of these. It's pretty simple. So once the compressor is ready, you start inflating the tire. Do it in small increments so that you don't blow the tire off the rim. Once the bead is set, you can take the valve core and put it in the valve. Thread it in quickly by hand, traps the air in. You can tighten it up a little bit with that valve core removal tool, and you can set it to the right pressure with the floor pump. Once the tire is mounted and the pressure has been set and you've taken it for a quick spin and you've filled in all the gaps and voids in the tire, let it sit for about an hour, then come back and check the pressure again. If it's losing air, maybe add a little more sealant, maybe swish the sealant around a little bit more. If not, you're good to go. Thanks for watching. For more tech tips, click here.